Okay, before I'm going to start this tutorial, I quickly want to show you the end result. So this is the stick grenade after we're going to texture it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's far from perfect, but it's still good considering the time. So I really enjoyed creating this tutorial, and I hope you will enjoy it as much as I enjoyed making it. And I did every texture from scratch except for one or two, so that means you can pick a lot of techniques up in this tutorial. So yeah, I just learned that I reached 200 subscribers, so I just wanted to give a quick thank you. So without further ado, let's just jump into the tutorial. Hey guys, and welcome to the Game Method tutorial part 2. In this lesson I'm gonna teach you how to texture your stick grenade inside Quixel. And I'm gonna teach you some techniques you can pick up to and apply them on your own models. So before I go into texturing, I want to do something real quick. I'm gonna import my low poly. First, gonna refresh it. So I'm gonna import my low grenade, and the reason for that is because I actually neglected something on the last part, and specifically I neglected the UVs. So as you can see, we have a really big issue here because this edge is really spaced out, as you can see. So I'm just gonna quickly move it back, and the reason I'm doing this is because when I did some tests, I actually had some distortion on this part. So the reason for the distortion is because my UVs were kinda incorrect. So I'm now quickly going into them. Actually, I'm not gonna delete it. Okay, doesn't matter. So I'm now quickly gonna go into it and fix some issues, and I'm already seeing another issue here. So I'm just gonna quickly move it back so it matches with the other edges, just roughly. So I'm just looking for other problems. So it looks like we're good to go. Go to left viewport by pressing L. Might actually move this. Way. Okay, looks good. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna render a UV template. I'm gonna make it to K. Just gonna hit render UV template, and as you can see, it actually rendered out my UV maps with the wireframe, so I can now quickly just see where I can go ahead and texture, or where my edges are placed. So if you're just using Photoshop, this is quite essential for you. Yeah, I'm just gonna close it. Alright. Okay, did I save my UVs? No, I didn't. So I'm just gonna do it quickly again. Go to Tools, Render UV Template, save it out. Desktop, name it UV Grenade. PNG, and make sure alpha channel is ticked. Okay, so that is done. Now I'm going to have to rebake my high poly. So in the last video I already showed you how to bake your normal map and your ambient occlusion map. So I think in this video I'm not going to show it to you. So if you haven't watched the last part, I highly recommend you watch it again. Watch the last part, because it's quite essential. So yeah, I'm just going to import my high poly, high grenade. Just gonna hit import, close it. Yeah, and now I'm going to generate a cage from the low poly by hitting projection. So at this point I'm going to cut the recording, and I'll see you after I have my baked maps. So yeah, see you later. Baked my new maps here and here, and the color ID. So I will now open Photoshop with Quixel, and I have a project folder right here, in which I have saved some reference images and some textures here, as you can see, and I'm gonna use this texture as my base for the wood. So I'm gonna change the normal map by opening NDO2. Then I will launch NDO2. Gonna input my mesh, the low grenade, my baked normal, and then just create a new project. Okay, so it's very straightforward. What you have to do is you have to just pick the texture, import it, scale it with Shift, and just a second. Rotate it and then scale it here. Where the wood is. So that's actually it. Now you want to hit rasterize the layer, and now you can actually transform it into a photo normal. So I want this to be very subtle, not a whole lot of details and all this stuff. So I'm gonna first change it to overlay, then a bit more depth. No, not that much. You know, it's up to you what you want to pick. So I like a bit more like this, and if you click the 3DO button, you can actually preview it. Want it to be more subtle, so I'm gonna first bring the opacity down and the softness up, then check it out again. Okay, I kinda like this one. Maybe a bit more down with the opacity. Okay, so I'm gonna use the same exact texture as well. It's gonna take it, rotate it, scale it to the wood part. Now I'm just gonna rasterize the layer again. Gonna hit NDO2, wood to normal, and this time I'm gonna change the bevel mode to outer and the blend mode to overlay, and then I'm just gonna really play around with the depth, with the fall off as well. Contrast maybe, opacity, and I'm just gonna preview it in 3D. And it looks quite good for my taste, so I'm just gonna keep it like that. So this is pretty much how you modify the photo normal of your mesh. So it's really straightforward. I could do the same for the metal parts with some metal textures, but I'm not really doing that right now because I want to keep this video a bit short. So yeah, I'm just gonna close this down. So what I have to do next is I want to use this information for the ambient occlusion. But first of all, I'm gonna change the fall off. Now preview it. This will only show me the wood, obviously. Yeah, quite like that as well. Okay, so what I will do is I will go to Tools or Map Converter, click Ambient Occlusion Normal to Height on Active Document, and that will actually transform the wood we created into an ambient occlusion. So I'm just gonna tweak the fine shadow. I don't want it to be very extensive, just very subtle like that. So I'm just gonna close it now. I'm gonna unhide this layer and save this one as normal new to desktop, and I'm gonna change it to a TIFF file. Okay, let's check it out quickly. Looks good. And now I will have to take my you can actually just close it. I will take my ambient occlusion now, which is here, and I will just quickly overlay it and change the blend mode to multiply, and now we can get this detail on our ambient occlusion. So I'm gonna save it as well. TIFF, desktop, new AO, hit OK, and that should do the trick. So now I want to create my own wood pattern, or I want to extract the wood pattern from here. So I will open Photoshop. I will make a new document, which is going to be 2K. Now this is a 2K document. I'm gonna take this texture here, I'm gonna paste it inside here. But first I do that, I want to go to Image, Mode. Just quickly go to Image, Mode, and hit RGB color, and now re-import it. Now it has color, so cancel. So just place the file, and this texture is actually tilable, so we can take this texture and tile it. Now I'm gonna merge these two textures. Gonna now duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and J, Ctrl and J again. It won't entirely tile, obviously, so I'm just gonna improvise. Improvise. Ctrl and T for transform, and I'm just gonna merge it. Now I will merge all these layers together, and I will hit Ctrl and U and completely desaturate it. Now I will get the levels, and this is quite a low res image, so I apologize for that. but it will do the job, so nothing to worry about really. Okay, now I'm gonna press Ctrl and T to transform, and I'm gonna rotate it, then hit enter. Okay, so now we'll create a new layer, and I can now use my grayscale image as a mask. So you want to press Ctrl and A and then C for copy. You want to press Alt and click on the mask, and then you want to hit Ctrl and V, and this will create a new layer. And now we can actually create our own wood. For instance, I will quickly just do it. Just do it quickly. Actually, just take a brown color and a layer beneath. So just quickly previewing it. So as you can see, we have our own wood pattern. So that's really cool. So I'm just gonna delete it, and now I will make a new document for Quixel. So we'll take my mesh, low grenade, material ID is here, normal is here. We don't need to flip it. The ambient occlusion, actually want to take the new normal and the new ambient occlusion. Curvature is here, and resolution to 2K. Make sure you put it to 2K if you have 2K maps. And you can actually change the export target, but I'm gonna choose marmoset, so I'm just gonna quickly create a new project. Okay, I'm done, so I can preview it on 3Do now. Okay, looks good, and here we can actually see what a normal map is quite good for. So in the low poly we don't have this detail, but since we have the normal map applied, we can see that this detail is just applied on top of it, which is quite cool. So I'm gonna start blocking out the materials. So I'm gonna create groups. First I'm gonna create a new color fill layer, and then I'm gonna assign a dynamask to it, or not dynamask, but I'm gonna click here and put it to brown, and then I'm gonna make another group, group it and put it to green. Okay, so now I will open the wood first, and I'm gonna make a new clean layer again, and I want to get the the mask from here, so I will click Alt and go in. Then I'm gonna click Control and A, then Control and C. Then I want to go back to Quixel. Not here, just find Quixel. Okay, so you're gonna edit the dynamask. You wanna click paint mask in Photoshop, and this will allow you to paint your mask. So you're gonna just paste it by pressing Ctrl and V. Okay, might have to do it again. So press Alt and click here. Ctrl A, then Ctrl C, then just Get rid of that. Go to the mask window, and then just okay, it's actually working, but I'm not quite sure why it's. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Paint mask in Photoshop. Get rid of that real quick. Okay, so you're gonna go to Untitled here. It's gonna hold Alt and go over here. Press Ctrl and A, and then Ctrl and C, and then just go back to your project. Here's your mask, and then okay, now it works, and then just paste it. So again, just go to the document, Control, press Alt and click to view the mask. Press Ctrl and A, and then Ctrl and C, and just paste it in the mask with Ctrl and V. So it's nothing more to it. So I'm just gonna delete it, you know, the mask. So I'm just gonna get rid of that as well. Go to the mask and just accept mask. Okay, and this allowed us to make a nice wood pattern. So I'm not sure what color exactly I want, so I'll just block it out first. So maybe a brownish reddish. Okay, you want to go to the mask. Or actually just leave it. Okay, so you want to select color you like. First I'm just gonna block it real quick, and as you can see we have this nice wood pattern. So just gonna try selecting a good pattern for it. I kinda don't like that one, so I'm gonna go back to my reference images, and yeah, I'm just gonna get some brown color. Just gonna go to the reddish brown. It's gonna take that as well. Okay, this one looks quite alright, so I'm gonna stick with that for now, but I want to make some variations in the gloss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the pattern. First I'm gonna look myself. I'm gonna make the pattern a bit much glossier, not much glossier, but glossier than the base, because if you look at some references, you can actually see that the pattern is actually a bit glossier. So I'm just gonna do that, as you can see. Alright, so the wood is blocked out, and now it's time for metal. So the metal is going to be some type of greenish metal. So some references is actually very desaturated. So I'm just playing around with some colors. This is quite make it more saturated maybe. Okay, I'm just gonna go for a dark green maybe. Doesn't really matter. You can change the color to your liking. So I'm just gonna take this one. The wood is looking good already, but I'm still gonna tweak it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some damage. So I want to add some rust first, or I want to add some miscoloration. So I will completely bring the opacity on the albedo down, and on the specular as well. And now I will go to the gloss slider, and as you can see, the gloss slider is still active. I want to edit the dynamask. And I want to go to black. Or white. Yeah, go black. Okay, so I'm gonna tweak the gloss value, and I want to go to grunge, which is right here. And I'm using my mouse at the moment, but can get much better results with a graphic tablet. I have one, but I'm too lazy to get it out right now, so I'm just gonna paint some grunge, some dirt. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get some grunge and just, you know, start adding some impurities. So just do it real quick, because you have to add the backstory to your textures. So in my case, it's been through a lot, like a soldier carried it a lot with him, and so it's going to be very muddy, very impure, a lot of scratches maybe, and even a lot of rust because it's been used in a wet environment or anything. So I'm just gonna put headlight on, just gonna randomly add some impurities. And if I make the base a bit glossier, you can see the impurity much better. So I'm just gonna make it a bit glossier. So just go all out for now. On the back as well, don't forget the back. Go to painting and disable this here. Paint through thin geometry, we don't really want that. Okay, so and just add some impurities to your liking. And what I do now is I'm getting another brush, this one maybe, and I will just turn the opacity down and just try to brush away some stuff that wouldn't really make sense. Not sense, but just to make a bit more variation also. So on here actually it's going to be cleaner. So I think I will add edgeware now with rust only, because obviously it's going to be rust when it's opened. Like if you look at the did I just really open Fallout? Just close Fallout. I'm sorry for that. So if you look at the reference, we barely see any metal underneath, but we only see rust and dirt. So we'll add. I will add first accept the mask. I'm gonna make sure I'm okay with what's happening. Accept the mask. Okay, so it will look like this. So I'm gonna add a material and we'll type in rust, and we have this nice rust fine. So I will get this, edit the scale first, go to the albedo, okay. Actually it seems like it's frozen. You know, this is sometimes a real issue on Quixel, because you know sometimes it just freezes randomly. Okay, so bring the scale down to -1. Right, and now edit the Dynamask. And I want to go to maybe edges first, which is here. And now the effect is quite subtle, but if we go to the post-process options, you can actually tweak the tightness, which will make the effect a bit more extreme. So maybe even go to painting and just add some rust yourself. So go to painting, select another brush maybe. Just start adding some rust. And starting to look quite interesting. So just add some random rust, not random, but areas that would be affected by rust. Just doing it really quickly and dirty. Add some here as well. Okay, it looks quite good. So I want to make it look very worn and used. Beat up the edges a bit. So all I'm doing is I'm switching from white to black all the time. It's nothing really special. Just adding and subtracting detail. And that's pretty much sums it up. So it's recommended to turn off the headlight and to kind of go to different lighting conditions. And just to make sure that everything looks quite good. Okay, looks good. What about this one? This one. This one. Okay, it looks quite alright. I'm just gonna look for more details I could add. I'm thinking of some bleaching now. So I think I will calling the rust part done. Maybe here a bit more. and the back is a bit unaffected. Just gonna start subtracting now. Okay, now we'll add some sun bleach, which is quite common. So I will do that by first I'm gonna give it a little light spin. I'm gonna work on this one. So like I said, I'm gonna add some bleach pass. So I'm gonna take the green color, just go quite above, and now we'll add Dynamask, enter Dynamask, and go to black. Just maybe takes grunge again. Just start to do some miscoloration. To make it a bit more interesting. Definitely gonna tweak the value still. Okay, so that's for the sun bleach. Maybe subtract some details. Accept the mask. Now change the value here. Okay, that looks good. So the next one is going to be more intense green. So where the paint is a bit more intense because it has barely been touched or anything. Just invent a story. It's definitely more about storytelling than anything else. So what I will do is I will get it, go to maybe brush tips, and yeah, I will change stay with grunge. I kind of like grunge. Just paint some darker values of green. So a bit darker maybe. Well, that looks good. that looks too good, so I'm just gonna beat it up a bit and push it back. Bit brighter. Same here as well. Sap the mask and make this one a bit glossier. Just, try to get some variation. In your texture. So the next layer is going to be well, I'm not quite sure what the next layer is going to be. So I'm just looking at my reference, which is here. What can I add? So I could add some random splatters and some mud. So I'm not sure if I will do that, but let's just see what could look good. I'm gonna make a new layer first, and I'm gonna add some glossy splatters first. So I'm just gonna decrease it. Not gloss, but the albedo, opacity to 0. Specular as well to 0. As you can see, we have this glossy layer, but we're gonna isolate it. So black, and now add some splatters. So I'm not sure what. Yeah, maybe these will do it. Bit glossier. Yeah, this should look fine. And now I'm just gonna try to add some random splatters, really. Bit too thin. So I'm gonna go to damage and maybe try to find something here. Doesn't work quite well. What about here? Okay, that looks quite good. Just gonna add some random, but it's not really what I want, so just gonna So maybe I will increase the specular, and I will just increase it a bit. Not that much. Turn on the headlight. So I will add some random scratches here, and you might be thinking, okay, that looks unrealistic now, but I will take the grunge brush in the end and just remove this unrealistic look then. So go to grunge. And just speed up the shapes you have. With a lower opacity. Okay, that looks interesting. So I will just maybe add some more, man. Just trying to push the attractiveness here. You know, I want it to reflect. You know, when it reflects, it should like do all sorts of different things. So yeah, just gonna make it a bit more stylized then. Yeah, just well, that looks enough in my taste. So I'm just gonna look into different lighting conditions. Okay, looks good. So I will maybe add. Not sure what to add more, because it's actually a very simple model. Maybe I could add some, you know, like details like this, where you can see the metal a bit more. But actually I kind of like it, so I'm just gonna accept the mask here. I think the metal is a bit too dark, so I'm just gonna play around with the values. Change the gloss, maybe make this one higher. also change this green and make it a bit less saturated, or more saturated. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the wood. So the wood is quite beat up in the reference, so I'm just gonna do the same thing. So add a new layer, albedo to 0 opacity, specular to 0 opacity, and remember you can always change color values and you're not really bound to one. So if you like look at it in a second time or anything, you can always change the color, come back and do some adjustments. So I'm just checking on different lighting conditions because it's very important to check your model in different lighting conditions. Okay. Yeah, we'll just go on. So specular to 0 opacity. This is going to be very rough. Okay, so enter the Dynamask editor and just go to a grunge. Take this one again. I like the grunge brushes in Quixel, I really do. So just start adding some impurities again. Of course I'm not adding anything now. So I like how you can see the color bleaching here. So it looks really worn and the look I want to go for, but I'm not quite satisfied with the values. But who knows, maybe I'm going to change some values, maybe I'm not. And I'm looking at the watch and the tutorial is getting really long, so I'm just gonna go very quickly because I still want people to watch my tutorial, because a lot of people tend to skip tutorials when they're too long. So I'm just gonna quickly do everything. A lot of imperfections on the end, naturally. So yeah, now I'm gonna take another lower opacity, just start to beat it up. So I actually quite like it. I'm gonna accept the mask here. As you can see, the damage here, I want to have them a bit more visible, so I'm just gonna try a really neck breaking trick Maybe it will work, maybe it will break. No. Just have to find out. So I'm gonna make it a darker value. And I'm gonna go to rich occlusion, which will only affect the ambient occlusion then. And press M. So increase the tightness. Contrast maybe. Maybe change it to black. Invert the mask. So just force refresh 3D. Okay, actually we're on the wrong, just gonna quit it. And we had to actually tweak here. Oh, okay, I figure what the problem is. So, just sorry, my mom called me, so I had to help her out. So, just a bit confused at the moment. So, try to undo. Okay. What does this mean? Okay, this is the pattern. Alright, so what is this? So I'm just gonna rid of okay, what does that layer do? bit brighter. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna delete this one. And now I'm gonna make a new layer. Completely set it to a blackish tone, and I'm gonna edit the Dynamask and to rich occlusion. Play around with the tightness. Okay, this should pronounce the cavities a bit, so I'll just accept it. Put the gloss to 0. And the specular to non-existent. Okay, so now I want to add some more details. So yeah, I'm gonna add some. I think I want to just decrease the gloss here. Okay, so now I want to take make some black black dirt around it. So we'll just go to a black kind of layer, add a Dynamask. Make it black. So I'm gonna go all black actually. And then I'm just gonna look for brushes. So I'm just gonna try this one. Gonna go to the gloss and just decrease it. I kind of like how it turns out. Just gonna open the headlight. So I'm just gonna paint some dirt around. Around the handles. Like this. And now I wanna go to the albedo and just bring the opacity down like this. Okay, and that looks cool. So I want to add some spread all over here. Just gonna add some color variation, make it look a bit more appealing. Decrease the opacity. Looks good, so I'm gonna accept the mask. And I'm gonna cut the recording because it's getting really long. So it looks like this now. So now I'm gonna add some other stuff. First I'm gonna do the lighting conditions test. Okay, the wood looks good, but I want to add some fingerprints because it makes sense. Somebody was holding it with his wet hands, with his oily hands, I don't know. So I'm gonna bring the opacity down on the specula and albedo. I'm gonna edit the dynamask. So now I'm gonna go to fingerprints, which you can find on stains maybe. Then maybe prints. Prints should be where here we can find the fingerprints. So I'm gonna decrease the brush. Yeah, just take a fingerprint like this one, because you can see the texture. Yeah, that looks good. So just gonna add some now. Go to the gloss and make it quite glossy. Turn it black first. And then just edit. It's quite buggy at the moment. Okay, now it should appear a bit better. So just add some random fingerprints. So decrease the glossiness. And that looks good. So I will call the wood done for now. and move over to the metal because I'm not quite satisfied with this piece here. So yeah, you can add a lot of stuff, actually more than I did right now, but it's up to you really what you want to add. So I'm just gonna give another pass to the just gonna try to do some better values. Okay, that's not looking good as well. Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, we'll just go with a bit more saturated green then. Me trying to find the right value would take too long, so we'll just, call it this one done actually. And yeah, I'm gonna add some unique text now. So what does it say? I'm German, so I actually can read it. Vor Gebrauch Sprengkapsel einsetzen. Okay, so let's just put it in as well. So I will just quickly put it as well. So see you in a minute. Okay guys, so I have added text as you can see, and I'm beating the text up by adding a layer mask and just going over with a black brush. If you don't know how layer masks work, I highly recommend you watch tutorials about layer masks and blend modes too, if you really are that inexperienced. But highly recommend you watch tutorials about layer masks if you don't really know what a layer mask is. So yeah. So I'm just gonna beating up the writing with some pretty basic brushes. So yeah. Now I'm gonna preview it in 3D. Yeah, it looks quite good. So I'm just quickly gonna preview it. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much done for the pretty much it's for the texturing. Okay, now I'm gonna add some damage to the wood. So I'm gonna switch to the 3D window. I'm gonna add a new material. Search for wood. Select this one. Rotate it to 90 degrees. Okay, now edit the Dynamask. Quixel is stuck, so just gonna redo it. So I'm just gonna add black mask. So now I'm gonna add some damage, like this one. Just start adding some damage. Same here as well. Okay, now I want to change the color. Going to desaturate it. don't like the color of it, so it's trying to find a value. I'm just trying to find the right value. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract some details with this brush. Same here as well, just rotate it. So now I'm gonna add some random damage. It's a bit too random, so you can just take a grunge brush and just subtract some details like I'm going to do it now. Just taking this grunge brush, gonna bring the opacity down. It's gonna take away some details. So it doesn't look too random. Okay, I can pretty much call this done now. Maybe add more damage. Okay, so I can pretty much call the wood done, and I will get it inside Marmoset toolbag, and then we can end this tutorial for good. So I'm just gonna take a grunge brush now to subtract some details with low opacity. Subtract some wear. Okay, so now I want to accept the mask. And after that, you're gonna hit export and export target to marmoset toolbag, and just hit export all materials. Okay, this is how it looks when imported into marmoset toolbag. So I'm pretty happy with it. It looks quite good. You can see a lot of details like the wood or these scratches. So yeah, this pretty much wraps up the tutorial. So I will catch you guys next time. Goodbye.